Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to another episode of the podcast. And if you have seen the last two videos, you know who I'm here with. Phone, how you doing?
Thanks. I haven't washed these clothes in 3 weeks.
You know,
Just for this podcast.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, guys. So, Phone, what have you been up to?
Well, recently, a lot of it has been focused on stage managing the show at Rio Hondo College. We are putting on a production called The Brown Baby.
Tell us about it. What is that? I never heard of Brown Baby.
I wish I had brought the poster so I can remember the actual info. It's an original play written by the same writer who wrote another play called The Many Deaths of Danny Rosales. I just went to see the play this week at Occidental College. They did such an amazing job. But anyways, Brown Baby is about this woman who's trying to immigrate to America with her baby, but then her baby gets kidnapped by an organization that's trying to sell babies to American families. So while I was dealing with this story about this woman and trying to get back with her baby and her family, it also deals with this other story focused on an American family who's trying to find a baby. And we found out how these two different stories intertwine and connect in this theme of family and immigration and justice.
Sounds pretty cool.
So you can come watch the show on November 29th to December 1st at Rio Hondo College. Yeah.
Nice. And how's it going as far as like the cast wise? Is everybody pretty good on the?
I think this is honestly one of the better shows that I've seen stage managed in the last few years. Because in almost every show we've been, there's all like near the off book date is when things start to like go wrong, and I remember a lot of those memories. Like even Beth, Larry Project, every show we've been in, everyone always has problems near the off book date. But for Brown Baby, there's only been a few of those problems. It's not as bad as the problems we've had because the actors, they're not off book, but they have a sense of their lines. They just don't have it completely, so that's why they bring their scripts on stage with them. But I can tell that they actually know what they're doing and not just off. They're just not off, like, you know.
Oh, okay. Is it a lot of paraphrasing? Are they at that stage? Paraphrasing?
Yeah, right now, it's, well, at first, yeah. Like, well, yeah, so instead of, remember, like, in the beginning, shit, I was trying to explain earlier.
There you go.
Earlier, what I was trying to explain is, the actors, instead of being off, they're not completely off book, but they were paraphrasing a lot of it. Which is why I knew that they knew their lines. They just weren't saying it right.
Right.
So I think in that sense we were doing a lot better than previous shows because back then at this point those actors they would have nothing. Even for us for like Larry Project we didn't have our lines down I think. So in terms of that actors are doing pretty good on lines. There's a few cues that have been missed, but that's only because they're distracted.
Nice.
But
Brown Baby.
yeah, so actually starting this coming week is Tech Week. And it's my first time stage managing, so we're gonna see how that goes.
Are you nervous about doing all the calls and all the cues and everything?
Oh my god, yes. Because I never realized how much paperwork goes into stage managing. I don't know if you know this either, but every rehearsal there's always a rehearsal report. You just send into Bill and everyone else, and you're constantly checking to make sure things are getting done.
Damn.
I got assigned like 4 assistant stage managers, and at the beginning of the semester I had no idea what to do with them because I had no idea what I was doing as stage manager, and they had no idea what they were doing as assistant stage managers, and I also was the one giving them jobs to do. So eventually I think I adapted to it pretty quickly, and I found things for them to do, and I found a way to organize everything. So I think at first I was like really nervous and really scared, but I think I've learned so much now that I can be better prepared at it.
Wow. With 4, that's a lot. That's like more than any other show. It's usually like 2 people.
Yeah, yeah, and that's also because Tech Week for this show is 2 weeks. Usually we do it 1 week. We do it like 4 days before our show opens.
Is there a reason? Is it like a longer show or like how?
New stage manager.
Oh, but
No.
A lot of the stage managers were new.
I'm kidding. It's partly me being new, but also it's mostly because the show has so many tech heavy cues.
Oh, okay.
We're adding projections. We're adding a lot of stuff. And the thing about this play, what makes it different from other plays we've done, is that the whole play is how do I say this? It's a split stage. There's 2 scenes on the stage at all times. So when one scene goes out on this stage, this side, right stage, I have to like instantly chew up the other side so that blackout lights up.
And the actors from the other side are still on stage. The actors. Wow.
In some scenes, that's what makes it so hard, because I also lose track of who's supposed to stay in blackout and who's supposed to leave during blackout. Because sometimes their scenes are so short that even though their scenes are blacked out, they're still in place.
Yeah.
Because after that scene's done, it goes back to them.
Ooh. I had a question. How hard is it, like, writing the blocking? Like, how do you do? Do you do your own little thing, or do you go by Bill's like little key?
I should have brought it. It's a mix of both. I've learned from this gig that my first job as stage manager was researching all the paperwork that comes with it, and there's so much paperwork that makes it complicated with so many things that I kind of just reduced it for this production to something really simple. Fuck, what was your question?
How difficult is it to write the blocking?
So regarding that question, I have an assistant stage manager just for blocking. So they've been helping me write down all the blocking.
Oh, that's smart.
But I've also been writing down all the blocking.
Oh.
Just for myself, just so I can keep track of things.
Okay.
But she's the one who's supposed to have all like the real changes. I'm just writing down blocking because I had the time to, and I'm just doing it so I can pay attention to this. But if there's a moment when I'm like when someone else is talking to me and I'm like handling other stuff, she's the one in charge of like looking at it all and then telling me, hey, this changed and this changed and this changed, and I just use those notes and apply it to my notes.
Alright, cool.
But I think what you referred to by Bill's key is the little like that map he gives you. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, kind of
like with the arrows and the.
Yeah, he had like
weird,
little suggestions and things.
Yeah,
with
with
a
the
faster
little
way
shapes.
of writing it.
Yeah. That's the way. Yeah, that's the way I do it. Yeah.
Oh, you do by that.
The assistant manager, the assistant who writes down the blocking, she writes it down whole. She just writes it all down in words, and it's just such a hassle for me to go back. So yeah, the moment I see it on stage, I just write for Devone, I will put D, circle, that's Devone. Crosses, X, stage left, SL. So it would just be DXSL.
I mean, that's simple.
But Bill's Bill, and he has done some crazy blocking. Because the way our stage is set up, we have 2 scenes, right? On both sides, we have these raised platforms. So sometimes it gets difficult to write blocking for me when there's like 4 people standing on the platform, 2 people standing on stage, 3 people sitting on the lower platform, and another person center stage on another platform. So it's like when there's like a lot of people in different places doing specific things, like really specific things, like sitting down, sitting with your legs extended, sitting with your arms crossed, stuff like that, it gets tricky to write that in, because it's all about timing and making sure everyone's doing it.
Jesus. You said it's in what, 2 weeks? You said? Nice, brown baby. Look out for that. All right, cool. So I have a not a riddle, but I have a question. So if I punched myself, right?
If you what?
If I punched myself.
If you punched yourself.
And it hurted.
Okay.
Would that make me strong or weak?
How did you get so philosophical?
You too.
Okay, if you punch yourself, would it hurt or?
No, if I punched myself and it hurted,
Okay.
does that make me strong or weak?
Makes you strong.
Makes me strong, but
But
it hurt.
it hurt. But here's the thing. Your conscious is designed so that you don't notice you hurting yourself. Like if it's something like, yes, it'll hurt, but it's not gonna hurt you as much as someone else hitting you. It's just gonna be like a bump to yourself if you do it to yourself. Of course, if you're using other stuff to hurt yourself, that's a different story. But if you just are physically punching yourself, you're consciously designed not to feel pain from yourself. That's why you can't pinch yourself, right?
True, huh?
So that's why I think consciously, if you feel pain, that just means you're strong enough to override that conscious system and make your brain actually feel the pain you're doing to yourself.
Okay, so you're going with strong.
I'm going with strong.
Okay, well, I think you're one of the first people that I've known that took an answer on it.
Because I'm smart, Devone.
It's not smart because you can. Either way could be argued. No one had ever took a stance. People get confused.
What have you heard on this?
I don't know. But people say two things. First, people start out, you're strong, but then people, oh no, well, you weak, you hurt yourself. People go back and people doubt themselves. So I never met no one who stood on a firm answer.
Going back to our last podcast about turnips. This is also hypocritical because it's me, but I feel like I've also grown and learned for myself, and I'm going through this change. I feel like a new person, and I think if you have doubts, if you keep going back and forth and you're indecisive, that's also a turn off, because that was me and I was pathetic. So, you know, if you're gonna, because I'm a theater kid, make a choice. Choices are sexy.
Yeah, that's what Bill kept saying when I took his directing class.
It's life.
He said the number one thing to being an executive is knowing how to make a choice. Shout out Bill. All right, this is a long but a good podcast.
Yeah, I gave everyone a good peace of mind to think about. Lots of topics covered. Devone, any last words?
Well, I'm not the last word guy. It's in the last episode. Any last words? Well.
It's been a great 3-part series of many unchanged smelly clothes.
Property.
But I hope from these 3 podcasts we've learned a lot about respecting insecurities and a lot of other philosophical discussions.
Alright, that sounds about it.
No, that was terrible. I want to try that one more time.
With your last thoughts?
Yeah, with my last thoughts. I can do better than that, Devone.
I mean, you can, but I might keep it in. We can retake it. Or do you want?
So, thanks for joining us, guys, in this 3-part series. I hope you all know that I had such a great time doing this, and I recommend anyone else to do this. In this 3-part series, I learned a lot about myself as a person. Apparently, I have a new type, and I'm a changing person. So these are all discoveries that I just made tonight, and it would be great that other people can make these discoveries themselves. So as always, we will see you next time.